Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys, and we're doing a mishmash of an episode as we're just waiting it out. We're counting down the days till MSI actually starts, Mark.
Guys, not only are you desperate for MSI to start, we're desperate too, boys. The League Unlock plane, we're in a stall. We're in the big time stall until we can finally get the clearance for the Iceway.
You're just doing laps, doing circles around the landing strip.
We need the clearance to land on Iceland's runway, my man. We're waiting, but it's soon. It's this week, boys.
Finally, we're getting that close. First topic, it started out as a question on Twitter. And we're going to dive a little deeper into it because heading into this event, it's no secret. We did a poll. Who's the bigger favorite? Damwon or RNG coming into this event? 87%. If you guys believe it's Damwon, I think you and I would both agree that they should be the big favorites. But if we're talking all-time international events, Worlds or MSI, is Damwon the biggest pre-tournament favorite that we've ever seen? And we're including SKT era's levels of dominance. And there's three teams that I could think of that you could maybe argue. The first is that 2015 SKT at Worlds, because coming into that event, I mean, you were taking SKT versus the entire field.
Yeah, absolutely. Even understanding that they had that little slip up against EDG, you still looked at that team from SKT and what they were able to do, what they were doing at the time, what the game was, and how it was being played around the rest of the world. The domination that SKT had in game, unmatched. And absolutely, again, yes, knowing that there was the slip up, that they were able to get beaten, the LeBlanc no longer undefeated. Still, you had that feeling about this organization, this team, that speaks to the power that they had built up that year.
And the other, favorites or big dogs at that tournament, you had the Coup Tigers that they weren't fully evolved into Rocks Tigers yet. They had the big slip-up choke, if you want to call it, at IEM Katowice, and EDG were also probably the second biggest favorites behind SKT. We know that they completely flopped in the quarterfinals against Fnatic, but even though EDG had beaten them at MSI, people still had SKT way ahead of them coming into that event.
Absolutely, and rightfully so, right? Because yes, that was a very significant series at MSI, and yes, it was the big time, big brain move to bait in the perfect LeBlanc in Game 5 and to have a full composition built around it to counteract it. But to see that it took that length, it took that measures to take down this SKT team. And then what they did over summer, right, to reinstall that
more domination.
The domination domestically that would lead to what you knew would happen at the World Championship. A very strong contender for the biggest favorites that you could ever have heading to an event.
Another version, another team, same team, SKT. You look at the other big one for me, it's not even 2016, it's 2017. After their third World Championship, this is when Huni and Peanut came over, and I know that Worlds ended, and that's what people remember from that 2017 era roster. But the spring split, they went 16-2 and then 3-0'd KT in the finals. And coming into that MSI, it was everyone just talking about how badly is SKT going to beat up on everybody in Brazil.
It's easy having the hindsight, right, of history to look back at the failures of this team ultimately at the end of the year, right, the end of 2017, and to look back at it and have negative opinions or certain things. But to remember the 2017 MSI and the run that they had been up to that point, you're right. You're talking about, you're not even looking at the actual results. You're just adding them up at that point from what SKT as an organization had accomplished with the 3 World Championships. And then you see the roster turnover. You're adding a player like, explosive play style players like Huni and Peanut to the roster, what they were going to bring and how they.
That was them at the peak. 2016 Immortals, Huni, and Rocks Tigers, Peanut. That was the peak of their careers.
Absolutely, and understanding what they delivered in spring with that SKT roster. Koma snapped up the belt and got Huni into game shape that we've never seen Huni playing in before. Because, yeah, it's easy to remember the Yasuo from the finals and how it didn't work out and everything else that happened in summer for SKT with Huni in that top position. But it's easy to forget how dominant things were in spring and the level of play that we were able to get from Huni with this SKT roster. Absolutely. That's only talking about just that. To me, this is even that next step above what we were talking about with the 2015 SKT. This is another level of expectations from what they were able to do.
The last one for pre-tournament favorites being at the highest level. We're in 2018. We're headed to Worlds. And it's not SKT. It was RNG. And they had won everything. They won both LPL splits. They won MSI. Uzi looked absolutely unstoppable and on track for probably the best competitive year that we've ever seen. Coming into Worlds, everyone, the teaser videos, analysts, everyone had RNG as that favorite coming into the event. The meta ended up shifting a little bit, and, you know, the wards with G2. Perks has a great performance. But pre-tournament favorites, RNG, were number one on everybody's list.
This was the year of RNG. It was the golden year. This was the year that everybody was talking about with Uzi. This was it. This was going to be the crowning, the best achievement that we were going to have. A whole year of RNG domination. They were going to win at home in spring. They were going to win MSI. They were going to win summer. They were going to dominate the world championship. And it was going to be Uzi making sure, lifting up that trophy. Of course, not how it played out, as we talked about. The meta changed, and yes, major performance from G2 stepping up, specifically Perks, in that series. But when you're talking about pre-hype, heading towards a tournament, expectations, where you feel like they can dominate, it's right up there to me with the 2017 SKT as far as it. You got to pick one of these two to me to compare to Damwon in this conversation. Because yes, as much as I do have a soft spot for 2015 and looking back type of situation, I think it cannot stack up to the hype that would have been around for 2017 MSI SKT or RNG heading to Worlds in 2018, the perfect golden year that was supposed to be. And you got to stack it up against this Damwon one.
That's the question. Is this current Damwon heading into 2021 MSI, who has dominated the summer split in the LCK, dominated the spring split in the LCK, and snuck a little bit of a world championship in between there. They've looked virtually unstoppable. Okay, they looked a little weaker in summer. Again, we've talked about it. 6-0 in the playoffs. They were close 3-0s at times. They're still 3-0s, guys. So is Damwon right now the biggest favorite that we've ever seen? You got to look at the rest of the competition, and to be honest, G2 not being at the event is a good case for Damwon.
It definitely is when you're talking about what type of challenges, right? Consistent challenge you feel like could be provided to this Damwon team. And I think it's important that as we, glossed over and hyped up and look back at the other ones that we want to challenge this Damwon run with, well, time to pay some respect to this Damwon run, right? And talk about their domination and why they're in this position.
It's all time.
This has been a climb for the last couple of years, right? We're talking back to 2018 Worlds. We were talking about this RNG run. We're having this hype, talking about this challenger
Scrim
team,
gods.
talking about exactly who you're going to play against, preparing for the finals. Oh, you're going to get to play against Damwon. Oh my goodness, all these type of things. The journey has kept going for this organization, for the star players on this team to capture the spring, capture summer, and go to the world finals, get the championship, come back home and win spring again, and all of it in dominant fashion, all of it pushing the pace, all of it pushing aggression to its next levels in the game. I think absolutely there's no question to me that you might lose the context of this dominance if you're not looking at the entirety of time, right, and adding up what they've accomplished in such a short period of time. But yeah, I just can't put it ahead of the all-time favorites of the dominance. I think it just slots into that second place. You got to put it number 2. And for me, what's it going to be? But it's going to be the RNG golden year I'm going with as the most dominant team heading to an international event.
They absolutely did look unstoppable heading into Worlds, even in deficits against LCK squads like Kingzone in that MSI finals. They were coming back.
I'm pulling for a different result for the Damwon domination than the RNG one, though. Hopefully.
Yeah, the golden year. I mean, it started off well for them. Another quick one you could maybe touch on is MSI 2019 for IG, who were the defending world champions, slaughtered the spring split in the LPL. The only problem there is both SKT and G2, I think you could talk about as legit threats, and there wasn't a big enough gap between IG and the rest of the squad. I know RNG coming into this year's MSI had an incredible playoff run, but you still feel like there's a bit of a gap between them and Damwon.
Yeah, and that's not meant to be anything against RNG or what we've seen from the LPL. It just simply is what we've already been proven from Damwon, what we've been given from them, what we've seen from them, and then our expectations based off of that. And I think given what we've seen this spring from Damwon, what you know about Damwon, what you can guess more or less what they're heading into, favorites is a very comfortable position you'd put Damwon into.
Yeah, sizable favorites. The way you're judging the biggest of favorites is, are you taking the field or are you taking Damwon? At this year's MSI, I'd probably go Damwon.
Damwon is the volcano. Everyone else is climbing up, my man. That's the situation that we got at Iceland.
Yeah, and all it takes is Damwon to decide to erupt, and hey, look, they're MSI champions. So for now, it's this run that Damwon is on is at the very least in the category of all-time levels of dominance. Over the weekend, we were talking about waiting for MSI. There's been no games, but wait. There has been some fantastic games. We're talking EU Masters, and this event is just absolutely incredible to see its growth, its evolution, and the LEC obviously has been paying attention, picking up players from there. But this weekend, the finals peaked mark 377,000 viewers. That's only about 50K less than the LCS finals got.
Dude, it is actually insane numbers coming through. When you've got literally the president of France texting the winners to say, look, I know I'm not into the league scene. I know that I'm an outsider here, but I can see the numbers. I can see the hype. I know the following that you guys are getting, seeing those viewers numbers reported. And he congratulates them, my man. That is what we're talking about with the level of EU Masters. It's insane, as you said, to see, let alone this tournament have the growth that it's had, but to see the region, to see these teams, to see these players continue that growth, continue that excellency to becoming one of the best developmental leagues that we have in the world, and to see it and to have these games for full display, and especially in a time where, as we've talked, you're looking for games, you're looking for something to fill your day if you're a League of Legends fan. Hey, over here, middle of the day, middle of the week, League of Legends action. That is exactly what the EU Masters is for.
Yeah, and this series deserved to get that many viewers because it didn't go 5 games, but it was very back and forth in pretty much all of these games. And both squads, BTXL and Carmine Corp, the LFL champs, and that's why the French president was reaching out to them. A lot of these guys are going to be getting LEC starts in summer. And are we sure that Joe Biden wasn't texting perks after their win in the LCS finals? I don't know.
I don't know if we're getting a buff from the Biden administration for the Cloud9. You'd love to see it. I don't know if we're getting that level of hype. But hey, we got to get the LCS numbers even higher to get stuff of that nature over North America. Look, the real story has to be on, obviously, the players and the organizations and what they've done. And as you said, a lot of them should be getting a look at the LEC. And as we know, I think after MSI, more or less, you might get some rumblings of a little bit of the shakeup towards summer. Some of these teams will want to do and will have to do, knowing Abadage leaving situation. We know that there are going to be openings paired up. There are going to be situations to shift around in the LEC. A lot of these players from the EU Masters can step into those roles and try to prove themselves. Absolutely.
And I think the biggest one, Saken had a great performance the entire series, and this is the guy that I'm so happy for, because after seeing him on Vitality and the dumpster fire that roster was for a while, I think, he had a negative connotation around him all of a sudden. But seeing this performance, he absolutely deserves to be getting another LEC shot.
And completely unfair, really, to the most part, right? From looking at how things played out, all the things that, were against to get him even into that situation, to get him to that place, to even start to try and get some games. Yes, his performance was never really the problem. You always had I think everyone would have had a belief in his abilities and his ability to continue to grow. The situation soured with Vitality and how everything went. And yes, extremely happy that he is flourishing in this role. And you'd be crazy if you're an LEC team not looking to take a chance on someone like him.
The last EU Masters winners, AGO Rogue, 4/5 of the starting lineup were all starting in the LEC within the next split or so. Probably going to happen again with Carmine. Maddie and Deadly were the AD carry matchup in this finals. They've been going in different leagues head-to-head for a long time now. I only expect the AD carry pool to get even more stacked in the LEC because these guys are going to get promoted for sure.
Yeah, hey, look, we can even look at the LCS and acknowledge that we've got academy players that absolutely can step in and do a better job than the players at the LCS level are doing. And that's a comment on the LCS's quality. This is not about a comment about the LEC's quality. This is a comment about EU Masters quality, that you are able to look at these players and say, plug and play. They can step up right away and should be able to provide you, let alone the level of play that you need. But you want to put them in because they're going to keep growing and they keep developing type of situation. Absolutely, I think that this is, again, another year that the EU Masters gets a double thumbs up from me.
It's just proven that it's now a fully viable, maybe even the most viable career path for aspiring pros is to play in these regional leagues and hopefully get to this madness tournament that is EU Masters. Looking again at the viewership, 2019, the viewership peaked at 61,000. viewers. You go a year later, 2020, it's 114, and then it's tripled this year to that 377 that we've talked about. So the growth is just nutty.
Right, and I don't mean to belittle even last year's type of numbers, but when you're looking at last year, well, there was a lot of hype because, well, everyone was getting into that Pookie style meme, right? A lot of generation on that on Twitter type of things.
Yep.
Of course, Polska, Garam, everything else. But yeah, that type of situation, you're talking about a major jump up from there in the number of viewership. And really, what was the difference this year? The quality. You had a lot more attention to the scene. You had a lot more attention to the players.
The timing and the schedule is so perfect.
It was so perfect. And again, the next level up. This was another level, another year of better quality competition, better games to watch. It was all good, my man. There is nothing negative I can say really about this EU Masters experience, especially for this year.
And the cycle looks like it'll continue. Young talent comes up through the LEC. The established talent heads over to the LCS. It's all working according to plan.
You got to have that cash, baby.
And that's definitely what the LCS is doing. Whether or not they actually result in results is an entirely different story. We know what patch we're going to be on for MSI. It is 11.9, and how is this going to impact the meta? What exactly are the picks we're going to be seeing? I think the biggest change in terms of pick ban that you're going to see is Hecarim's finally getting nerfed. He might still be getting picked, but he's been the most highly contested, whether he's banned or picked throughout all of spring.
I really hope he's not being picked, and that's not based off of seeing him a lot in spring or anything about the champion, because I actually like Hecarim as a champion. I think he fits great in League of Legends. It was about time, though, someone reined this pony and said, that's enough.
When the full tank build is one-shotting your AD carry, it's...
Yeah, so multiple things are hitting him to knock him down a little bit. So absolutely expect him to not be nearly prioritized or shouldn't be prioritized as much by some of these teams. One of the things I think is absolutely bonkers is we are seeing not only Kog'Maw buff, we are seeing an accompanied Lulu buff.
Can't do it at the same time. Can't do it at the same time.
Man, I need to know who at Riot has the secret keys, because just like a nuclear launch where you got to put the 2 keys in and someone's got to push the big red button, someone's got to put the 2 keys in and push that big red button and that big red Kog'Maw and Lulu buff button, because nobody in their right mind is buffing them both at the same time.
Yeah, I think maybe it's you just want something to fight against Jinx. We've seen Jinx really come online in the second half of the split and in playoffs as a strong pick. And if you need a hyper carry to go against her, Kog'Maw's one of the few who can actually match her range.
I don't know why I can't remember it, but it's got to be just like, the pulp culture thing. You really must be that desperate to turn to me, to turn to Kog'Maw and Lulu buffs to resolve your problems with Jinx. You got to be really damn desperate to do that. I think that is going to be an interesting addition, because obviously quite a different play style and strategy to put into your composition and mindsets playing through than what we have been seeing this past year. So that will be interesting to see for sure. And then, of course, as we all know, no Gwen, no Viego for MSI.
Tragic. But it's been so long. I know we just talked about EU Masters, but we just haven't seen pro play in now a month plus. So There's been some patches, there've been some picks that have popped up in solo queue. We're talking Morgana and Diana Jungle specifically have been terrorizing. Both got tuned down a little bit, but I still feel like we're probably going to see them picked.
The other one that people are talking about too is that sneaky, that Rumble jungle. The Rumble coming through. You got a lot of damage. You got a lot of utility. Unfortunately, that's a Yordle.
Three AP junglers. AP carry junglers.
Yeah. A scary tournament to think about lining up across from Canyon, my man.
Yeah, and that's the other big thing. We're getting the Damwon skins. If we'll know how badly Damwon is styling on people if they go full 5 skin comp, right?
Hey, I'm just pulling for my man Jin, my favorite, my main. I need to see the Damwon Jin come through. Ghost, please. Hey, even Showmaker, if you want to take him into mid lane, I don't care what you do with the Jin. Just give me a Damwon Jin, please.
And most of those picks are still pretty meta. Leona, Nidalee, okay, Nidalee a little less so now, but I don't think it really matters what Canyon plays. Twisted Fate's still there. Jin is fine. Khan, let's see him play Kennen. Steal the Nugget skin.
Khan has been, I don't know if anyone has seen it, but they've been kind of keeping track of a lot of these Damwon players, everybody else at MSI, but specifically the Damwon players, as they've encountered and been, I'd say, infected with EU solo queue and a lot of the terminology that's been coming through. As Khan's been up there bringing out the solo bolos and whatnot, so my man might be ready to dish out a little bit of Kennen action at MSI.
He's fully meme ready to come over to the LCS. We're maybe still a couple splits away from Khan heading to the old retirement home in North America, but he's got the meme level on point to join.
Hey, the memes will be ready, and you better believe that there's going to be cash lined up for your boy.
The last other thing is some changes to the items, which there's no big Udyr nerfs or anything like that, but both Dead Man's Plate and Chem Tank getting hit is definitely going to hurt Udyr. Is it enough for him to not be staple in the meta? I don't know, but I mean, these are nerfs people have been calling for a long time.
Yeah, I would hope that this is enough, and I hope for some teams to realize it, but I think, unfortunately, we might get some organizations that are a bit too stuck in that mindset or stuck in the idea of, okay, if we can simplify this, right? Because you run, you stun, job done, you move on type of situation. And I know, at certain things, but at some times, out of professional sense, you can just apply that to that role. You're going to get value out of that if your team can play around it or utilize it and everything else. And so some organizations might not want to take a chance on implementing something more complex or something different in strategy-wise than what we've been going through with the Udyrs you might want to pull out.
Yeah, and I think it is a thing that teams kind of get locked into just, I don't want to say complacent, but they get locked into a routine. They're like, all right, Udyr, Hecarim are both busted, blah, blah, blah. It's almost better to have this gap where you have this change where, these teams are moving to Iceland for a while and kind of resetting with a couple of patches now since they've probably played to try and come up with some new strategies and new ideas. I don't think most teams are going to be unleashing them in the play-in stage. I don't think Damwon's showing off all these picks, against Infinity eSports. But
I don't think from our established teams that you'll see much in that regard. But absolutely, the idea that we are in play-ins right away, right? It is all of a sudden there is no gap between these teams vying to get at the very top. It's go time right away. Absolutely, I think some of these lower teams you might see them bust out a unique strategy, a unique champion to try and get that best.
We're getting so close to MSI 2021, but that is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. Thanks for hanging. We'll catch you on the Flippity Flip.